The crowd outside was screaming my name when security rushed backstage. My heart was beating fast, not from fear, but from excitement. This was my night, my first sold-out concert. 5 years of pain had led to this moment. I was fixing my microphone when the security guard cleared his throat and said words that made my stomach drop. "Your parents are here." I froze. I laughed once because it sounded like a joke, but his face stayed serious. Before I could speak, the dressing room door opened. My mother walked in first, looking around like she owned the place. My father followed, calm and proud, like he had always been there for me. "There she is," my mother said loudly. "Our daughter." My hand started shaking. 5 years ago, these same people told me I was no longer their child. They said music would ruin me. Now they stood backstage at my sold-out concert like nothing happened. My father looked at my outfit and nodded. "You've done well," he said. I felt something cold rise in my chest. I had dreamed of this stage, but not of this moment. Then my manager leaned close and whispered, "They want to go on stage with you." The lights dimmed outside. The crowd roared louder, and everything inside me cracked open. Their faces pulled me back to the night my life broke apart. I was 18 then, standing in our living room with a letter in my hands. It was my music school acceptance letter. I remembered how proud I felt holding it. I thought my parents would smile. I thought they would hug me. Instead, my father laughed. He sat on the couch, shaking his head while my mother crossed her arms. "Music?" she asked. "Is that what you want to shame us with?" I told them it was my dream. I said music made me feel alive. My father stood up and said dreams did not pay bills. My mother said girls like me did not become stars. She said I was stubborn and ungrateful. They gave me one choice: music or family. I remember my hands shaking as I said I chose music. The room went silent. My father walked to my room and came back with a black bag. He threw it at my feet. "Pack," he said. "You chose your path." I begged. I cried. I held onto my mother's arm. She pulled away and said words I would never forget. "When a child refuses to listen," she said, "the child becomes an orphan." That night at 11:23 p.m., they pushed me outside. The gate slammed shut, and I stopped being their daughter. The rain started falling the moment I stepped onto the street. I stood there barefoot, holding my bag, staring at the closed gate. I knocked once. No answer. I knocked again. Still nothing. My phone buzzed, and for a second I thought my mother had changed her mind. It was not her. I walked until my legs hurt and ended up outside a pharmacy. I sat on the cold ground and hugged my knees. Cars passed. People laughed. No one looked at me. That hurt more than the cold. That first night I did not sleep. I watched the sky change colors and wondered how fast a life could fall apart. By morning my eyes burned from crying. I sent my mother one message: "Please." She replied with one sentence: "You made your choice." Something broke inside me then. Not loudly, quietly. I spent the next days asking for work. I cleaned tables, I washed plates, I slept wherever I could. Hunger became normal. Shame became familiar. One night, a police officer tapped my shoulder while I slept outside a shop. He asked where my parents were. I said I did not have any. He looked at me for a long time and then walked away. That was when I understood something important. No one was coming to save me. If I wanted to live, I had to fight. I took any job I could find. I cleaned restaurants until my hands hurt. One manager noticed I hummed while I worked. One night he told me to sing while washing dishes so customers could enjoy the mood. I hated it, but I did it. Hunger was louder than pride. A woman recorded me singing on her phone. I did not know her name. I did not know that small moment would change everything. The next morning, my phone buzzed nonstop. The video had spread. People commented on my voice. Some were kind, some were cruel, but they listened. That same day, I got a message from a man who said he was a music producer. He told me I was special. He said he could help me succeed. I met him in a small studio that smelled like dust and dreams. He smiled a lot. He called me Star. He promised safety and success. He placed a contract in front of me and said, "This is your chance." I was tired, I was hungry, I was alone, so I signed. At first things felt better. Studio time, small shows. people clapping. Then I read the fine print. He owned my songs, my name, my voice. When I asked questions, his smile disappeared. "You should be grateful," he said. And that was when the second nightmare began. Working with him felt like drowning slowly. He controlled everything. When I wrote a song, he claimed it. When I spoke up, he threatened me. He told me no one would believe a girl like me. I slept in studios. I lived on instant noodles. I sang until my throat hurt. I stayed because I had nowhere else to go. One night, after 3 shows with no rest, the lights felt too bright. My head spun. I tried to sing, but my legs gave out. I woke up in a hospital bed with wires on my chest. The doctor said I was exhausted. He asked who to call. I had no answer. That was when Nurse Mira walked in. She spoke gently. She listened. She did not judge me. She held my hand while I cried. She fed me. She helped me stand again. She offered me her spare room until I recovered. For the first time in years, I felt safe. One night, I told her everything. She listened quietly and then said words that stayed with me. "If music is your calling," she said, "your stage will come." I did not know when. I did not know how. But for the first time since I was 18, I believed her. Living with the producer slowly crushed me. At first, he acted kind, but that faded fast. He decided when I sang, where I went, and what I wore. When I wrote a song, he changed it and put his name on it. When I complained, he smiled and reminded me I had signed the contract. I slept on a thin couch in the studio most nights. I washed my clothes in sinks. I ate noodles and drank water to stay full. Every time I asked for my pay, he said the money was coming soon. It never did. One evening, I overheard him on the phone. He laughed and said, "She thinks she's talented, but she's nothing without me." My hands shook as I listened. That was when I realized I was trapped. I wanted to leave, but fear stopped me. I had no family, no savings, no safe place to land. If I left, I would be homeless again. That night, I stared at the ceiling and thought about my parents. I wondered if they felt proud cutting me off. I wondered if they missed me at all. The next morning, the producer handed me a new schedule. 5 shows in 3 days. I told him I was tired. He leaned close and whispered, "Stars don't rest." Something inside me cracked again. The shows blurred together. Bright lights, loud music, fake smiles. My body felt heavy, but I kept going. Every time I stepped on stage, I pretended I was strong. When I stepped off, I felt empty. One night, while scrolling on my phone, I saw photos of my parents online. They were at a family party, smiling proudly. My mother wore her best clothes. My father looked relaxed. It was like I had never existed. A cousin sent me a message. She said my parents told everyone I had run away and ruined my life. They said I was stubborn and ungrateful. They said they had tried to help me. I stared at the screen until my eyes burned. My mother was telling lies about me while I slept on a studio couch. That hurt more than hunger. The next day, I finally spoke up to the producer. I told him I needed rest. His face hardened. He told me I was replaceable. He said there were hundreds of girls who would be grateful for my spot. That night, my chest hurt badly. I could not breathe well. I thought it would pass. It did not. When I walked on stage the next evening, my legs felt weak. The lights flashed, the crowd cheered, then everything went dark. I woke up to a soft beeping sound. My head felt heavy. My body would not move right away. When I opened my eyes, I saw white walls and bright lights. I was in a hospital. A doctor stood beside my bed. He asked my name and how long I had been working without rest. I tried to answer, but my throat hurt. He shook his head and said my body had shut down from stress and exhaustion. Then he asked a simple question. "Who should we call?" I stared at him. My mouth opened, but no name came out. The room felt very quiet. That was when Nurse Mira walked in. She spoke softly and adjusted my blanket. She looked at me like I mattered. When she asked my name, I started crying. She stayed with me longer than she had to. She brought me food and helped me sit up. She listened while I told her everything. I told her about my parents, about being thrown out, about the producer. She did not interrupt. She did not judge. When visiting hours ended, she pulled a chair close and said something I had not heard in a long time. "You are not alone," she said. I cried harder than before. For the first time in years, I felt human again. Nurse Mira visited me every chance she got. She brought homemade food and warm smiles. When I was discharged, she did something that shocked me. She offered me her spare room. "Just until you are stronger," she said. Living with her felt unreal. She asked about my day. She prayed with me. She reminded me to eat. No one had done that for me in years. I told her about music school, about my parents, about the producer. She listened quietly and then asked one question. "Why do you think they hated your dreams so much?" I did not know how to answer. While resting, I started writing again. Not for money, not for fame, just to breathe. One night I wrote a song about the night I was thrown out. I called it Forsaken. I recorded a simple video in Nurse Mira's living room and posted it online. My voice shook, but it was real. By morning, the video had thousands of views. People shared their own stories. They said they felt seen. That same day, my producer called, angry. He shouted that I had no right to post music. I hung up. My hands shook, but my heart felt lighter. For the first time, I chose myself. The producer sent threatening messages. He said I was breaking the contract. He said I would regret it. Nurse Mira helped me find a young lawyer who listened carefully to my story. The lawyer explained the contract slowly. He said it was unfair and controlling, but not impossible to fight. He warned me that the producer would not let go easily. That night, my phone rang again. This time, it was my father. I froze when I heard his voice. 5 years of silence broke in 1 second. "You are embarrassing this family," he said. "Remove that song." I asked him why he was calling now. He ignored the question. He said I should stop chasing foolish dreams and come home. My hands shook, but my voice stayed calm. I told him I was no longer a child he could control. He ended the call without goodbye. The next morning, my mother posted a message online. It looked like a prayer, but it was aimed at me. She wrote about stubborn children and shame. That was when something inside me changed. I was done hiding. I was done begging. I opened my social page and announced my first major concert. I named it Voice of the Forgotten. Within hours, tickets started selling, and I had no idea who had already bought theirs. After I announced the concert, my phone would not stop buzzing. Messages poured in from strangers who said my song helped them feel less alone. For the first time, my pain meant something good. But the producer did not see it that way. He sent me a long message filled with threats. He said the song belonged to him. He said he would ruin me if I did not take it down. When I did not reply, he went further. He emailed venues and warned them not to work with me. Fear crept back into my chest. My lawyer told me to stay calm. He said we needed proof and patience. He warned me that the producer was powerful and angry. That same week, I received an invitation to perform live on a popular radio show. The host said he heard Forsaken and wanted listeners to hear my story. My hands shook as I agreed. When I sang live on air, my voice was soft but steady. The phone lines exploded. People cried. People shared their own stories. After the show, the host pulled me aside. His face looked serious. "Your mother called before you arrived," he said quietly. "She asked me not to let you perform." My stomach twisted. I realized then that my parents were not done hurting me, and this time they were watching closely. I walked home in silence after the radio show. Nurse Mira asked what was wrong, and I told her everything. She listened, then reminded me of something important. "Truth has power," she said, "but it scares people who live in lies." The next morning, I saw pictures online of my parents at a church event. My mother smiled proudly while people praised her parenting. I felt sick reading the comments. Then a cousin messaged me. She said my parents were telling everyone I was unstable and being used by bad people in the music industry. They said they were worried about me, even though they had not spoken to me in years. That lie hurt deeply. I decided I would not stay quiet anymore. I posted a short message online. I did not insult anyone. I simply said I was kicked out at 18 for choosing music. I said I survived on my own. I said I was proud of myself. The post spread fast. Some people doubted me. Others believed me instantly. The comments were loud and divided. That night, my father called again. His voice was sharp. "You are washing our dirty clothes in public," he said. I replied calmly, "You threw me out in private." He hung up. I stared at my phone and understood something clearly. This fight was no longer just about music, it was about the truth. The concert planning moved quickly. Venues confirmed, posters went up, tickets started selling faster than I expected. Every sale felt unreal. One evening, my manager sent me a screenshot. It was an online article with my name in the headline. The story claimed my success came from favors, not talent. It hinted at things that were not true. My hands shook as I read it. I knew who planted it. The producer had finally made his move. The comments were cruel. Some people defended me, others believed the lies. I felt exposed and dirty, even though I had done nothing wrong. Nurse Mira held my hands and told me not to read anymore. My lawyer said we would respond carefully. Then something unexpected happened. Fans began sharing my song again. They posted clips from the radio show. They shared their own stories of being abandoned. They used the title of my song as a tag. By morning, the article was buried under support. That was when I knew I was not alone anymore. The producer called me that afternoon. His voice was cold. He said I should cancel the concert before things got worse. I looked at the ticket sales. They were nearly sold out. I told him no. After the call, my manager messaged me again. "You should know," he said. "Your parents just bought VIP tickets." My chest tightened. The past was walking toward me. I stared at the screen for a long time after seeing their names on the guest list. Part of me hoped it was a mistake. It was not. They had chosen front row seats. I asked my manager if he could block them. He said he could, but only if I wanted him to. I told him to leave it alone. If they wanted to come, they could sit like everyone else. Still, fear followed me everywhere. I dreamed about the night I was thrown out. I dreamed about my mother's voice. I dreamed about the gate closing. The producer sent another message. He said if I went through with the concert, he would destroy my career completely. I showed the message to my lawyer. He told me to save everything. Then something strange happened. A former assistant of the producer reached out to me. She said she had proof of unfair contracts and lies. She said she was tired of watching young artists get hurt. Hope sparked again. As rehearsals began, my body shook from nerves, but my voice grew stronger each day. The band believed in me. My team believed in me. The concert date arrived faster than I expected. Backstage, I paced and tried to breathe. Then security came running. "They're here," he said. I knew exactly who he meant. My parents stood backstage like they belonged there. My mother cried loudly when she saw me, drawing attention. My father stayed quiet, studying my face. "We are proud of you," my mother said. "We always believed in you." The lie stunned me. I asked them why they came. My father said families should celebrate success together. My mother said it was time to forgive the past. I asked them one question. "Why did you throw me out?" They avoided my eyes. Then my mother spoke softly. She said she once wanted to be a singer too. She said watching me choose music reminded her of everything she lost. My father admitted he wanted to play guitar but was forced to give it up. Then my father said something worse. He admitted they were drowning in debt when I was 18. They needed me to study accounting so I could support them later. Music was never about my future. It was about their safety. My chest burned. Before I could respond, my father leaned closer and whispered a threat. "If you embarrass us tonight," he said, "we will tell the media things that will destroy you." A stage worker knocked on the door. 5 minutes, he said. The crowd screamed my name. I wiped my face, stepped past my parents, and walked toward the stage. I knew what I had to do. The lights hit me as I stepped onto the stage. The noise was loud enough to shake my bones. Thousands of faces stared back at me, cheering, clapping, waiting. I sang my opening songs on autopilot, smiling while my heart raced. Between songs, I spotted my parents in the front row. My mother waved like we were close. My father sat stiffly, his eyes locked on me. Every note I sang felt heavier knowing they were watching. Halfway through the set, my phone buzzed backstage during a short break. It was a message from my manager. Another article had gone up. This one hinted that my concert was funded by secret sponsors. I knew what it meant. The producer was trying one last time. I took a deep breath and walked back on stage. My hands shook, but my voice stayed steady. The crowd quieted as I stepped forward. "I want to tell you something," I said into the microphone. "Not as a singer, as a person." The room fell silent. I looked straight ahead, not at my parents. I wrote my next song on the night I was kicked out of my home. Gasps filled the room. I felt fear leave my body, and I began to sing. The piano played softly as I sang the first lines of Forsaken. My voice trembled at first, but it grew stronger with every word. I sang about rain on concrete, about hunger, about sleeping with fear as my blanket. The crowd did not move. No phones flashed. No one spoke. They listened. As I reached the chorus, tears ran down my face. I did not wipe them away. This song was not meant to be perfect. It was meant to be true. When the song ended, the silence lasted longer than the music. Then the crowd rose to their feet. The sound of applause was overwhelming. I lifted the microphone again. "This song," I said softly, "is about being abandoned." My chest felt tight, but I continued. "It is also about surviving." I turned slightly and looked toward the front row. "And it is dedicated to my parents," I said, "who are here tonight." The cameras shifted. A spotlight moved. My mother froze. My father's face went pale. The crowd murmured, shocked. I did not shout. I did not accuse. I simply stood there and let the truth breathe. For the first time, my parents could not control the story. The energy in the room changed. Some people looked angry. Others looked heartbroken. I saw people wiping tears from their faces. I saw strangers holding hands. I spoke again, calmly. "I was told that choosing music meant losing my family," I said. "I was told I would fail." My mother lowered her head. My father stared at the floor. "I forgive them," I continued, "but forgiveness does not erase the past." My voice stayed steady, even though my chest hurt. "I am standing here because I survived without their support." The crowd erupted again, not in hate, but in strength. They were cheering for survival, not revenge. I sang 2 more songs. Each one felt lighter than the last. When I finished my final note, the crowd stood and screamed my name. Backstage, my legs finally gave way. My team hugged me. My manager said my name was trending everywhere. I checked my phone. Messages poured in from people sharing their own stories of being thrown out, ignored, or silenced. But there was one message that stood out. It was from my lawyer. "The producer just filed a claim," it read. "He is trying to stop the rest of the tour." I closed my eyes. The fight was not over yet. The days after the concert moved fast. Interviews came in. Support flooded my pages. The article that tried to shame me was taken down after people demanded proof. Still, the legal threat loomed. My lawyer explained everything carefully. The producer was claiming ownership of my songs and asking the court to freeze my earnings. If he won, my tour could end overnight. I felt sick. That was when my parents called again. I almost did not answer, but I did. This time, they did not shout. They sounded scared. My father said they had something important to tell me. He admitted the producer had asked them questions months ago. He said the producer wanted dirt. When my parents refused to lie, the producer threatened them too. Then my mother said something I did not expect. She said they had saved old emails and documents from years ago, proof that parts of my contract were changed without consent. I did not trust them fully, but I listened. We met with my lawyer together. The documents were real. They were powerful. For the first time, my parents were not trying to control me. They were helping. Still, I kept my distance. Helping me now did not erase what they had done before. The court date was set. Everything I built was on the line. The courtroom felt cold and quiet. I sat beside my lawyer, my hands folded tightly. Across the room, the producer avoided my eyes. The judge listened carefully as my lawyer presented the evidence, the altered contracts, the threats, the lies. My heart pounded with every word. When my parents were called to speak, the room went silent. My father admitted the truth. My mother's voice shook as she confirmed the emails. The producer's face tightened. After hours of waiting, the judge returned. His decision was clear. The contract was unfair. The claims were dismissed. My rights were restored. I felt air rush back into my lungs. Outside the courtroom, reporters waited. My parents stood behind me, unsure where they belonged. My mother reached for my hand. I stepped away gently. "I forgive you," I said quietly. "But forgiveness is not the same as access." They nodded, understanding at last. As I walked toward my team, my phone buzzed with news. The tour was back on, and this time nothing stood in my way. The night after the court ruling, I sat alone in my apartment. The silence felt strange after so much noise. My phone kept lighting up with messages, but I did not answer most of them. I needed time to think. I thought about the girl I was at 18, the girl who stood outside her family gate in the rain. I wished I could tell her she would survive. I wished I could tell her she would win. The next morning, rehearsal started again. The band welcomed me like nothing had changed. But everything had changed. I was no longer afraid of losing everything overnight. Fans filled my messages with stories like mine. People said my concert gave them courage. They said they finally felt seen. That mattered more than charts or numbers. My parents tried to call again. I let it ring. Forgiveness did not mean instant closeness. It meant space. Later that day, my manager showed me the updated tour schedule. New cities were added, bigger venues, more people waiting. As I stared at the list, I realized something important. This story was no longer just mine. It belonged to everyone who had been told their dream was too much, and I was ready to carry it forward. The next concert was larger than the first. The lights were brighter, the crowd louder. But this time my heart was calm. I knew who I was when I walked onto that stage. I sang with joy instead of fear. Each song felt like proof of how far I had come. When I reached Forsaken, the crowd sang with me. Their voices filled the space where my pain used to live. After the show, I sat backstage and breathed slowly. Nurse Mira called to check on me. She told me she was proud. I smiled, knowing she meant it. My parents were not backstage this time. They watched from a distance, respecting the boundary I had set. That mattered more than words. A reporter asked me later if I felt revenge. I told them no. I felt peace. Revenge would have meant hurting them back. I did not need that. I had already won by standing on my own feet. That night, as I lay in bed, I felt something I had not felt in years. Safety. Not because someone protected me, but because I had learned how to protect myself. As the tour continued, my story spread farther than I expected. Interviews focused less on drama and more on strength. People asked how I stayed standing when everything tried to push me down. I always gave the same answer. I kept going. My parents sent a long message one evening. They apologized without excuses. They admitted their mistakes and said they wanted to rebuild slowly if I allowed it. I read the message more than once. It felt honest. But honesty did not erase history. I replied carefully. I told them healing would take time. I told them trust was earned, not demanded. They accepted that. That was new. Meanwhile, the producer faded from the news. Other artists came forward with stories like mine. The industry started paying attention. I felt proud knowing my voice helped others speak up. One night, after a show, a young girl waited outside. She said her parents did not support her dream either. She said seeing me gave her hope. I hugged her gently and told her something important. You are not wrong for wanting more. As she walked away smiling, I felt the weight of my past finally lift. The final concert of the tour arrived faster than I expected. The venue was the largest yet. The crowd filled every seat. I stood backstage, taking deep breaths. This stage felt different, not because of fear, because of closure. My parents were there again, seated quietly in the crowd. They did not ask for special access. They did not demand attention. They simply watched. I sang every song with intention. I remembered every version of myself that led me there. The scared girl, the hungry girl, the determined woman. Before my last song, I spoke to the crowd. I was once told that choosing music meant losing everything, I said. But I learned something. I paused. Sometimes losing people teaches you how strong you really are. The crowd erupted. When the final note faded, I bowed deeply. Tears filled my eyes, but they were not sad tears. They were grateful ones. Backstage, my parents waited. My mother whispered thank you. My father nodded, unable to speak. I smiled politely. That moment was not for them. It was for me. After the tour ended, life slowed down. I moved into a quiet routine filled with writing, rest, and peace. Fame no longer felt heavy. It felt earned. My relationship with my parents remained distant but respectful. We spoke sometimes. We listened more than we talked. That was enough for now. Nurse Mira remained my anchor. She reminded me often how far I had come. She never asked for credit. She never needed it. One afternoon, I sat by my window and played my guitar softly. I thought about the meaning of forgiveness. Forgiveness did not mean forgetting. It meant choosing not to carry anger forever. I had built a life from the ashes of rejection. I had turned pain into purpose. I had walked onto stages without shame. My parents did not lose their house. They lost me. And in losing me, I found myself. If someone ever reads my story and feels less alone, then everything I went through mattered. My name is Maya. I chose music. And 5 years later, when they walked into my sold-out concert, I was already free.
Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Smash that like button and hit subscribe so you don't miss anything.